out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Monday, February 11th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This week I watch all of our NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So hey, what up, Jeremy?
Yo, what's up, man?
Not much, man. Another day, new week, ready to start this week off right with the win tonight, make some money. So, hey, man, I'm ready to jump into these games and get it going. Real quick, though, if you guys don't mind, before we jump into this video, please take that quick second. Click the subscribe button for me down below. Make sure to click that like button as well. Helps me out. I really, really appreciate you guys doing that for me. And, yeah, man, I'm just ready to jump into some basketball if you are.
Let's get it.
Cool. First game we're going to go with, it is going to be the Charlotte Hornets going into Indiana to face the Pacers. I don't have to refresh my screen, so get us started with that. Hold on for me 1 second. Sorry, I needed to refresh my screen earlier. Let me pull up this over-under real quick. Give me just 1 second.
It looks like the implied total is 226, and Charlotte is favored by favored by 5.
Cool. Thanks for handling that for me. Go ahead and jump in on the Charlotte side of things.
Yeah, man. So, I'm going to still continue to say that I believe Jeremy Lamb is a fair to underpriced player, as well as Nicholas Batum. These guys, their performance lately has been average, right? But average for Batum is a lot better than the substandard performance he'd been putting forward basically over the last one calendar year. Recently, the last month to 3 weeks, he's played a hell of a lot better. His minutes are up. He's playing more and more like the Nicholas Batum we've seen in the past. So I think Batum and Jeremy Lamb are very fair price players. Kemba Walker at 10,000. I understand he's had a couple of monster games, but I just playing Kemba Walker on the road and then paying 10 grand for 10K for Walker is a lot for me. It's a long way for me to get to. There's other spots that I would rather spend up on the night. And I think a lot of people really forget how good Indiana really is. This is a really good Indiana basketball team. It's a playoff basketball team. They've played really well all year. And I just don't know if I want to take Kemba Walker going up against that. As far as bench players go for them, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist continues to be a tournament target. I'm fine with him as your small forward number 2 at 3.6, playing about 20 minutes a game right now. And that's really it for me with Charlotte. I mean, Cody Zeller, 5.4. I don't know if I can get behind it with the other spots there are at center tonight. So that's kind of really where I'm at with Charlotte.
Yeah, man, for sure. This game, the Indiana, now we know they got no Oladipo. There's been some guys that have been stepping up. The main guy that's been stepping up has been Darren Collison, 6.7. The price tag has came up a little bit, but the guy's just been playing very, very well. One thing that I do want to mention, with no Oladipo on the floor, his assist totals have definitely came up. And the guy's shooting the ball. They need some extra scoring. He's scoring the ball. He's averaging, I would say in the past 6 games, he's averaging about 18 points compared to his season average about 13 points. So he's getting about almost 5 extra points a game. I really like Collison. I think he's in a good spot at 6.7. Some news we're waiting on is Miles Turner is a game time decision today. We know the rule pretty much. If Miles Turner, so he shows up on the injury report with a swelling in his knee. He's one of their pieces that they want to look forward. That they really need in the future, and I don't think they're really going to take any risk with this guy. So if his knee's swelling and he's really kind of hurting a little bit, I think that they'll give him a day off against the Charlotte team. And if that's the case, you go right back to the well. With Sabonis, 6,200, a very fair price tag. If Sabonis was going to slide in the starting spot for Miles Turner at a 6,200 price tag, you just lock in Sabonis and you move on. But you definitely got to wait on that news. Also, Thaddeus Young, with or without Turner, the guy's been playing very, very well. 7,200 price tag. You need about 36 for value. With the price tag up a little bit, I think that he's a little bit more of a GPP play. But I definitely think you could consider him. If Turner was going to be out, then Thaddeus Young and and it's a bonus. They're pretty much going to get all the minutes that they can get. And in that case, I think it does give Young a little bit of a boost, and you can possibly consider him maybe in your cash games as well. Outside of those guys, I mean, you can look at. I mean, Evans is not a guy I'm not really looking at. The guy just. I mean, he's not the same Evans that we knew from a couple years ago. I'm sorry, Bogdanovich. He's a guy also that I definitely think you consider. They need this guy to score the ball. He's been really shooting the ball well. He's got you at least 21 real life points in 5 of the past 6 games. He's giving you a really, really solid floor. It's all about if the guy's going to fill up the stat sheet. Some games he'll get you 1 rebound. Some games he'll get you 7 rebounds or 6 rebounds. You can see that here. Same thing with assists. One game he'll get you 2. The next game he'll get you 4 or 5. So, I mean, on the game when he puts it all together, I mean, the guy can have really, really monster games. He's had at least 42 fantasy points in 2 of the past 5 games. So the upside is there. So I definitely think Bogdanovich is in play as well. But that's really it for me. I mean, it's just Collison, Bogdanovich, Thaddeus Young, and if Miles Turner is ruled out, then you go with some Sabonis. Joseph, the price tag's up a little bit, and him and Tyreek Evans are pretty much splitting the minutes. So that's really it for me. And then on the Wesley Matthews making his debut, I'm going to kind of take a wait-and-see approach.
I would tell you my opinion on that is Collison's fine. I agree with you on the Miles Turner deal. The Miles Turner deal, let's not forget, he was questionable, I believe, Saturday with the thigh bruise, and now he's got swelling in his knee, so he's questioned. I think you're right. I think they sit him out here, and you go with Thaddeus Young. It's a bonus. But with everybody else you mentioned, I think that's where you have to take the wait and see with. I think Corey Joseph and Tyreek Evans automatically get canceled out, and Bogdanovich becomes a fringe play. The biggest wait and see play for me, because Wesley Matthews is going to get shots, and he's a much better shooter than Corey Joseph and Tyreek Evans, and I think he'll get more shots than those guys were taking as well. Corey Joseph, just his appeal was when he was coming in, he was a point guard playing shooting guard who can handle the basketball, get you some assists, drive the hoop, etc. Right? But I think Wesley Matthews is in a good spot here. I think Wesley Matthews is a guy at 4.2 making a debut. I think you have an opportunity to knock down 4, 5, 6 threes tonight. I think it's a really good spot.
Yeah, I just, like I said, man, a new team, I kind of want to see, at least take a game and kind of see what happens and go from there.
But he's been there for, 4 days, right? He's been with them for 3 or 4 days. He's at least gone to shoot around and all that. So, I mean,
right,
he's got to be somewhat familiar with them.
Yeah, moving on to the next game. Next game we're going to go with is going to be the New York Knicks going into Cleveland to face the Cavaliers. This game has a 209.5 over-under. Cleveland's favored by 1.5 in this one. This game has the lowest implied total on the slate. And this is basically just 2 teams tanking right now.
That's the truth, man. So I think that I'll continue to say this about DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan, they were going to buy him out. The guy's playing for next year's contract from somebody, right? If Zizic isn't going to play, which is a game time decision, and they're going to keep starting this lineup they're rolling out, Kevin Love played 6 minutes, and then they yanked him and set him down, and they said that was their plan. I wish they would have let the world know that was their plan.
Hey, you were on. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was on them too, but I just couldn't fit them, and I'm glad that I couldn't fit them that day. Ended up making a lot of money.
The Colin Sexton deal, whatever they've got going on, fine. But if they're going to start this lineup, they're going to start. I don't see who can defend DeAndre Jordan and how DeAndre Jordan doesn't have a dominant game on the glass, right? So DeAndre Jordan, I think, is a really solid play in all formats at center tonight, going against his Cavaliers team. Hezonja entering the starting lineup, I'm not really interested in that. Damian Dotson, the guy can score the basketball. If you want to use him as a drop spot, I can understand that. I can kind of get behind that. Dennis Smith Jr., he seems to have the most upside here. It's already been said that Moutier won't come back at all for at least, I believe it was this week. So for the near future, it's the Dennis Smith Jr. show, to be honest with you. I mean, what other guy do they have besides Kevin Knox that they're going to allocate a ton of minutes to? Those are really the 3 plays. Is Dennis Smith Jr., DeAndre Jordan in all formats, and Kevin Knox is a tournament play.
Yeah, for sure. On the Cleveland side of things, I mean, Larry Nance, he's been playing, not too bad, but the price tag is right back up. He was just, in the 5,000s, and he's back up at the 7,100. If he's going to be going head-to-head with DeAndre Jordan, kind of which I expect, then I don't really like the matchup. I think DeAndre Jordan definitely can kind of push Larry Nance around a little bit. And with the elevated price tag, I definitely think you could throw him in a couple of GPPs, but that's really where I'm at with him. Kevin Love, without knowing how many minutes that he's going to have. If they tell us, okay, Kevin Love is going to play 20 to 25 minutes, then I definitely think at a 4.6 price tag that you can, kind of go after him. I think that he would be in play. But I mean, I personally have to hear that he's going to play that kind of minutes, because last game, we just talked about it. We thought he was going to, play a little bit of minutes. He literally started the game, played 6 minutes, and didn't come back. And, we had him in some GPPs. I'm glad we didn't have him in cash games. He definitely burnt the world. I know he was, decently owned. There was people that was on him. So it's a way to see approach. If we hear anything minute-wise, then that's really what we're looking for with Kevin Love. Colin Sexton, the guy's been playing very, very well, 5,400. Going against the Knicks team who's not very good. I definitely think he's in play. For value, we need about 26, 27. So I like Colin Sexton in this spot. I definitely think this is a game he can excel in. He's been playing, 30-plus minutes a game, and I definitely think he will today as well. So I think Sexton is in play. Outside of that, the only other guy that I'm really going to throw in, you can look at a Jordan Clarkson. He's a guy who's coming off the bench, and he comes in and he's very active, shoots the ball. He scores points. They like playing him. He does come off the bench, but he's like the sixth man. Plays right around 30 minutes a game. Fair price tag 5.8. We need about 28, 29 for value. Definitely think Jordan Clarkson is in play, but that's really where I'm at with the Cavs. I'm not really too intrigued by none of them.
Marquise Chris, bro. If he's going to start again, Marquise Chris has played 24 minutes and 22 minutes in his last 2 games. Price tag is 3.6. We know the guy has upside, had a lot of upside when he was in Phoenix. Problem with him is he tends to struggle with foul trouble, but he's a guy who can knock down the three, he can get in the post, he can rebound, etc. I think 3.6 on Marquise Chris is a very fair price if he's going to get 24 minutes. I have a question for you, though. How many minutes do you think we would need to hear that Kevin Love is going to play today before he becomes the chalkiest owned power forward?
At least 20 minutes.
I think 15.
Because you remember like last year, I mean, not even like last year, he was playing. He was only that was the problem with him last year is he was healthy. And they were only playing him like 25 minutes, and he was still getting like almost 40 fantasy points.
That's why I asked you that question, because I think 15. You look at what he did in 6 minutes, and he threw up 5 threes. I think he was 2 of 5 from the 3-point line, and then he made 2 free throws and had a rebound and assist. I think that's what his final line was. But the crazy thing is he got up that many shots in 6 minutes.
Right. No, for sure. And yeah, I think that is a good call, Marquise Chris. I'm still trying to catch up. There was so many trades this year compared to last year that the little guys here and there are kind of still catching up on those. But Chris was a good call. Moving on to the next game.
One other thing, bro, to note too is Brandon Knight did play 11 minutes in their last game, and that's something that we need to look for as well. Brandon Knight's minutes. We know the guy's a really good basketball player. He had an unfortunate setback, missed a long period of time. I believe, wasn't he in Milwaukee, got traded to Phoenix, injured his knee, then didn't play for basically a season and a half, and then he found his way to Houston, where he's been sitting there, and now he's on a team that actually traded for him. So, watch his minutes, because that if there's something. Maybe we don't even get news, but maybe, over the next couple of days, we see that his minutes are trending up into the close to the 20s. Colin Sexton is going to be the guy who gets impacted by that. And Brandon Knight, if his price tag stays at 3.5, there'll be an opportunity to play him at a really, really, really good price.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on, next game we're going to go with, it's going to be the Washington Wizards going into Detroit to face the Pistons. This game has a 224.5 over-under, and Detroit's favored by 5.5 in this one.
More value is on the board here with Thomas Satoransky ruled out. Chasson Randle will start at the point guard for them tonight against Detroit. 3.5 for a starting point guard. He's listed as a shooting guard on Fanduel, but it's 3.5 for a point guard. It's one of the unique opportunities that you have to play multiple players in the same position on Fanduel. I know on DraftKings you get to do that with roster construction, and a lot of guys have dual slot eligibility. So here's a chance to play a Chasson Randle at 3.5 and kind of get another point guard in your lineup with the 2 you already get on FanDuel. So Randall's been a decent player. He's been a decent play all year long in value spots and in good matchup spots as well. I will also point out Jordan McRae, it could be a guy who benefits from this as well. Jordan McRae's had a couple of decent games. He had one monster game where I think he was 0.1% owned, 0.01% owned. And so nobody, he came out of nowhere is my point. Bobby Portis at 6.4 coming off the bench. I don't know if I can get there. I don't know if I can get there with the other stuff that's on the board. If Jeff Green is to be ruled out and Bobby Portis is going to start, I think maybe I might be able to get behind it, but it still would be a tough matchup going against Drummond and Griffin at a 6.4 price tag. I'm really not interested in Bradley Beal. I am interested in Trevor Ariza. I've used other shooting guards this year a lot against Detroit because my thing's always been perimeter players against Detroit. I just can't really get up for a 9.6 price tag on Brad Beal right now. I would much rather pay to get exposure. I'd much rather look for 6,000 at Ariza at the small forward spot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on the Pistons side of things, Wizards, they're a small team. They're a team that they don't have, too many big guys. So I definitely think you have to look at Drummond. You have to look at Griffin and GPPs. I definitely think both of them are GPP plays, but both of them are in play in this spot and both have upside. So I like both of those guys. Reggie Jackson, his price tag's elevated. Ish Smith is back. I'm not really looking at him. I'm just going to keep it real simple. On the Detroit side of things, I'm just going to be looking at the two bigs, and that's really it for me.
Push it.
Cool. Yeah, I don't want to be talking about guys I'm not even going to play. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next game that we are going to go with is going to be the Brooklyn Nets going into Toronto to face the Raptors. This game has a 226.5 over under. Toronto's favored by 10. And real quick, before we jump into this game, just got some news that I guess Atlanta's going to be buying out Jeremy Lin, and he's going to be heading to Toronto soon.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, man, get us started with the Brooklyn side of things.
So I don't know. I think the biggest thing to look at here is Karis LeVert at 4.9. This could be. I'm not sure how much of the DFS world is aware that he's back and that he played 15 minutes. I think the headline I saw on our news feed was 5 steals in 15 minutes is what he had after his long-awaited return. We know the guy can score the basketball. 4.9 seems like a very fair price. It's going to be about minutes. He played 15 minutes in his first game back. If he's going to play 20 minutes, 22 minutes today, and he's going to come off the bench, I love the matchup with him coming off the bench. I think it's a great opportunity for him to light it up. Van Vliet he's been ruled out, I believe, or he's listed as doubtful. And Van Vliet's a guy that would kind of come in. Van Vliet, a pretty good defender, so they would kind of cross pass defensively. If he was going to play. But I think LeVert, man, is the most interesting play here at 4.9, depending on minutes. Outside of that, man, the starting 5, it's tough to take guys in Brooklyn, anybody's starting 5 going against the Raptors. Danny Green, good defender. Siakam, really good defender. And of course, Kawhi himself. So I'm not really interested. 8.6 for D'Angelo Russell. I get the volume is there, but that's not always a good thing if they're going to be highly contested shots, which, that's kind of my point with them being very good defensively. He can take all the volume in the world. If he's going to take, 20 contested shots tonight, I'd rather look somewhere else. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, for sure. And then on the Raptors side of things, I mean, man, bro, I like playing Raptors when you have a Kyle Lowry out or you have a Leonard out. But right now, they're fully healthy. So, I mean, it already is tough as it is. And then you throw a Marc Gasol kind of in the mix. I understand he's coming off the bench, but I think he's going to end up in the starting lineup. And the usage, they're going to want to get the guy the ball. So I mean, it's tough. And then not only that, I definitely think this game could turn into a blowout going against Brooklyn. I mean, I know Brooklyn has been competitive this year. Don't get me wrong, but Toronto at home, they play much better at home. They're fully healthy. They got everybody back. Van Fleet is a game time decision right now, but I mean, they have guys that could come in and fill the Van Fleet role. So I'm not really worried too much about that. They got, an all-star caliber player in Marc Gasol coming off the bench. I mean, I honestly don't know what to do with the Raptors, man. I mean, Ibaka and Siakam, they continue to be very fair price, but I mean, their minutes are both going to get cut a couple minutes each with the Marc Gasol addition. They didn't trade for Marc Gasol to not play the guy. They're going to figure out ways to get him on the floor. Lowry, 8.2. Leonard, 10,000. He's a fair price tag. I think the guy probably, I mean, and this is sad to say, probably the most interesting guy for the Raptors if Van Fleet is going to be out is maybe Danny Green will get a couple extra minutes at a 4,200 price tag. We know Danny Green does have some upside. I mean, 21 for value. Definitely think he can get us 30 in this spot. But I mean, if you like anybody on the Raptors, or am I kind of in the right area of got to kind of see what's going on?
I don't like. I don't know how much I like anybody, but I would maybe say that you said Danny Green. I think Norman Powell would be a really interesting play if Van Fleet is ruled out, because he
Yeah.
seems to be the next kind of beneficiary, that like the next guy in line, right behind Van Vliet.
The only
Um,
the only problem with him is I feel like they like playing Norman Powell like as like a small forward. I haven't really seen him too much in like the point guard or the shooting guard role this year.
Right. No, but my point is if Van Vliet is out, and the reason that is because you're absolutely right. The reason that is that he usually gets his bump when you've got
Kawhi.
Kawhi Leonard out. That's
Right.
usually when he gets his bump, right? So, and then we've seen them have Lowry and Leonard out, where both those guys kind of slide into starting roles, and we
Right.
know Van Vliet's more of the point guard. So Danny Green slides to that shooting guard spot, and then Norman Powell slides to the small forward spot. So, yeah, I agree with you. The thing that I saw today that's very interesting about Gasol is clearly I don't believe they have plans beyond this year. I mean, I don't think – I think there's a chance that they may internally believe as an organization that they're not going to be able to get Kawhi. I think they're putting on a facade to re-sign with them. And they are going all in on this year, because what I've read is they're going to keep using Gasol off the bench because they feel he's a really good passer and that he is a guy who can facilitate their offense with their bench unit. And if that's what they went and got Marc Gasol for, Marc Gasol is a starter. He's not, he's not going to take the Enes Kanter treatment. He'll be gone too. So it's kind of interesting. Like, I think maybe they've moved all in to try to win a ring with the talent they have behind them or on this roster now.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just move on. Next game we're going to go with is going to be the Portland Trailblazers going into OKC to face the Thunder. This game has a 231.5 over under, and OKC is favored by 6 in this one.
I just don't like the price tags on any of the Portland players at all. I just don't. So having said that, I'm not sure there's a spot here I really want to go. You can look at Harkless at 3.7 if you want to. In tournaments, I'm fine with that. Amino at 5.1 in tournaments, I'm fine with that. This is really hard for me to pay 7.6 for CJ, because the guy's just so dependent on scoring. And 10-2 for Dame. I don't like to pay. I like when Dame's a 9.5 player. I just
right.
And then you've got Nurkic going against Steven Adams. So I don't like the prices on these guys, and they're probably very fairly priced, where they should be based on performance. But it's a lot. There's no bargain. I don't feel like I'm getting a good deal here.
Yeah, for sure. One guy that I feel like I'm actually getting a pretty good deal on the Thunder side of things is Steven Adams. I mean, 6,900. He's under 7,000. I mean, I understand that the production has been down a little bit. He's 23, 25, 23, 27, but the minutes are still there. He still played at least 35 points. He still played at least 35 minutes in 3 of the past 4 games. He just hasn't, been necessarily scoring the ball as much, getting a couple extra defensive stats he usually does. But I like him in this spot. They're going to need him to play against Nurkic. And Steven Adams is a really smart player. And I usually don't like taking bigs against bigs. You guys know my rule. But Steven Adams is a really smart defender. He's not a guy that necessarily gets in foul trouble compared to a guy like Nurkic. Nurkic always gets in foul trouble. So I think Steven Adams is in play. They're going to need him to be on the floor, and they play the guy a ton of minutes. So I think I'm going to start there. And then you can look at the 2 other guys. You got Russell Westbrook. You got Paul George. Both of them guys, man. What do you want me to say? Russell Westbrook is averaging a triple-double. Paul George is top 3 in the MVP race right now. Both of them are priced up, but both of them deserve the price tags that they have. And both of them are definitely in play. For me, if I had to go between a Westbrook or a George, I'm always side with Westbrook just because he does so much in every other stats compared to just scoring the ball, where George is, he scores the ball more, that he's a little bit more scoring dependent. But I definitely think both are in play. Jeremiah Grant is ruled out today. It's looking like Patrick Peterson is going to slide in that starting lineup. 3,500, I definitely think you can, take a flyer on him. But one thing I will say, even though he's going to be starting at 3,500, I just don't really see the upside. I mean, Patrick Peterson, he's old. He just stands on 3-point line. He doesn't get down, get too many rebounds. I think the biggest beneficiary from Jeremiah Grant being out is going to be Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder has been playing very, very, very well. And they're not a super big team, and Portland has a lot of good guards. They come off the bench with Turner. They come off the bench with Seth Curry. They have a lot of guys they like to play that are small. So I think this game could definitely turn into a small ball game on the wings, and they'll come in with Turner and Curry to play with, Dame and McCollum. And on the other side, Thunder will come in with Schroeder. And I definitely think he'll pick up a couple extra minutes. The guy's been on a really good run right now. He's been playing very, very well, giving us a solid floor. And his price tag doesn't change. We need 26 for value. Definitely think he can get us 26, and he has 40 fantasy point upside, especially if he's going to play anywhere close to 30 minutes in this game. So, I mean, for me on the Thunder side of things, it's really just Adams, Westbrook, George, Schroeder. And then if we hear that maybe, we know that Patrick Peterson is going to start, but maybe Noel could get a couple extra minutes at power forward because, the Trailblazers do have some guys like Collins, Miles Leonard, a couple of big guys that they could bring in as well. And if they do that, then maybe they'll put Noel alongside Steven Adams. So it's really just kind of a matchup thing. But I definitely think the main guys are going to be Adams, Westbrook, and George.
I think you nailed it when you said Nerlens Noel and you said Dennis Schroeder, because Dennis Schroeder is going to be the biggest beneficiary. And if you look back on Steven Adams' game log, he played 19 minutes against Memphis. I believe that was the day they traded Marc Gasol, right? So they had two guys in Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ivan Rabb, who were their center and power forward, if memory serves me correctly. I think you could see Steven Adams play a few less minutes and them go with the lineup tonight in that small ball with Dennis Schroeder and Nerlens Noel. I think you could see Westbrook, George, Ferguson, Schroeder, and Noel on the floor a lot tonight. And if that's the case, Noel becomes probably – I think there's two good sub $4,000 center plays today, and I think with Grant out, Noel's one of them. We'll get to the next guy in a little bit.
Right. No, for sure. I agree with you. And like I said, that's the thing about the Trailblazers. They can go either way. They have guys to play big, and they have guys to play small. So, I mean, it's really a guessing game because it can go either way.
Noel's very athletic, and he runs the floor really well, and they can push the tempo with Noel on the floor at the 5.
Right. Moving on, next game we're going to go with is going to be the Dallas Mavericks going into Houston to face the Rockets. This game has a 222 and a half over under, and Houston's favored by 10 in this one.
The first thing I'm going to say here, man, I know it's on the Rockets side, but James Harden, it was on national TV on Saturday. He's clearly hurting from something. I don't know if it looked to me like it's a rotator cuff injury. I haven't even looked at the news on Harden to see if that's in fact what it is or if they've even said what it is. But it looks like he's got a rotator cuff injury, and that's a huge deal to kind of monitor for the rest of the season.
Think about it. I mean, they're running this dude in the ground.
Yeah, I mean, he's put up a ton of shots in the last 3 years too.
Bro, real quick. I know this is football.
I just saw it.
Freaking news. The Cleveland Browns just signed Kareem Hunt, who got cut for beating up his girlfriend, bro. That is crazy.
He didn't beat up his girlfriend.
He didn't beat her up, but you seen what happened though.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, he beat her up. It just wasn't his girlfriend.
Oh yeah, but you
know what's crazy about that? Let me just say one thing real quick, bro. The crazy thing about this is I believe it happened in Cleveland, right? The incident happened in Cleveland at a hotel in Cleveland. He's from Cleveland, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know where he's from, but
I'm pretty sure he's from Cleveland, and the incident happened at a hotel in downtown Cleveland.
Yeah. Hey, that's crazy though, because Ray Rice never even got an opportunity. This dude has barely been a couple months, and he already got signed by a different team.
That's insane.
Yeah, but hey, let's move on. Let's not get off track. Next game we're gonna go with is it's gonna be, like I said, the Dallas Mavericks going into Houston to face the Rockets. 222.5 over under. Houston favored by 10. And yeah, man, go ahead and get us started with that Dallas side of things.
I'm looking at three guys here. I'm looking at Doncic, I'm looking at Tim Hardaway Jr., and I'm looking at Dwight Powell. I think Dwight Powell's moved to the center spot, and now that's where his eligibility is finally on FanDuel. Doncic at 9.8, it seems like a stretch, but let me tell you something. I think this has to be this is a big game for him. This is a big game. It's a showcase game for Doncic, in my opinion, for the simple fact it's against Houston. They've made some trades. They've got some players. They've clearly made a commitment to Doncic and now Porzingis. We don't know what Porzingis is going to bring to the table, and he's not playing for us this year. We don't know. A guy 7 feet tall, torn ACL, how he's going to come back. They've made the commitment to Doncic. I think huge opportunity for him to showcase his ability tonight. He's mature beyond his years. I think it's a really good opportunity for him to show what he really is and kind of maybe solidify that Rookie of the Year as well on a really good stage against a good Houston team. If James Harden doesn't play, I probably really like Doncic a lot, just for the simple fact that I think it's more of a mismatch. Not that James Harden can guard him, but I think that the game flow will be different I think Doncic would be able to control the game flow a little bit instead of James Harden pushing the tempo the way he typically does when he's on the floor. So I think that's something to look at as well. Tim Hardaway at 5.8. If the guy's going to play 25 minutes and get you 30 fantasy points at 5.8, I'll take it. There's upside there. We know he's got 40-point upside. And then Dwight Powell, the price has come down just a little bit, but he is getting the minutes at center. That's where they're playing him at. And we know Houston doesn't have Capella. We know that Fareed's basically their center. Beyond that, Nene plays a couple minutes here and there. They don't have big. So Powell's a very interesting play to me as well.
Yeah, on the Rocket side of things, I mean, we'll just start with James Harden. He is probable for today. I mean, hey, with everybody back, they need to try to get this guy a little bit of rest. I mean, it is what it is. We just talked about it a couple of days ago. They were beating a team by like 30-something, and they still
Sacramento.
they still had this dude in the fourth quarter trying to get that 40-point streak continued. And brother, that's the coaching staff right there. Like, fuck the record. I mean, we got to get our guys some rest, especially Chris Paul's back now. So, I mean, they have another leader on the team outside of Harden. At least try to give the guy some less minutes if you're not going to sit him, rest him. You know what I mean? So I think, 3.3, I guess you could consider James Harden. I'm not really on him. I mean, you just talked about it. Something's going on with them. No thanks on the price tag. Maybe throw him in a couple of GPP lines. A guy that I think is a very fair price, Chris Paul, 7.8. If James Harden was to be out for some reason today, you just lock in Chris Paul and you move on. I definitely think his minutes are really starting to trend back up. He's got you at least 33 minutes in 2 of the past 3 games. That's where we want to see him at. Minute-wise, and he's giving you a solid floor. Almost had a triple-double last game against OKC. I like Chris Paul a lot. Another guy, they never want to change his price tag. Aaron Gordon, 4.7. The guy's in that starting lineup. He's playing, about 30 minutes a game. And, yeah, I understand he hasn't done nothing special, but we know Aaron Gordon has 40 fantasy point upside. Now, the 4.7 price tag, all we need for value is 22-23. That's what he got us the past 2 games. And like I said, the upside is there. So Gordon is in play. Kenneth Faried, 7.4. You talked about it. Mavericks don't have a really big guy, and so the Houston don't either. But Faried is their big guy right now. The guy's been playing very, very, very well. He's pretty much got you at least 30 fantasy points in 7 straight games. Double-double machine, double-doubles in 4 straight games. Plays some good defense as well. I like Faried in this spot. I think Faried is in a really, really good spot. Outside of that, I'm not really excited with anybody else on the Houston side of things. I mean, Shumpert, Green, they're kind of like taking a little bit away from each other. Same thing with Austin Rivers. Those guys are pretty much just splitting the backup minutes between the point guard, shooting guard, small forward, etc. I'm really just going to stick. I think my favorite 3 guys on the Rockets are going to be Gordon, Paul, and Faried.
And something to note as well, I believe they've just agreed to terms with Daniel House and added him back to their roster. What that means, I'm not sure, but he's a guy who's been with them before.
He's gonna be right there with the guys we just talked about as just getting those backup minutes.
Shumpert, though, I think is different. I think they I think Shumpert will crack the starting lineup. I think that
for defense.
Absolutely. I think when they move back to their regular rotation, I could see Shumpert being over Gordon, and then I think Fareed stays and Capella's back in as a center. I just think that's a pretty strong. That gives them a really strong bench and a really strong starting five.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure. Moving on, next game we're going to go with is going to be the Los Angeles Clippers going into Minnesota to face the Timberwolves. This game has the 231.5 over under, and Minnesota's favored by 4.
So there's some guys, man, that we talked about before we came on to do the video that are underpriced based off recent performance, and Gallinari is one of them. 2 very nice games since coming back at 7,000. I think it's a really nice price tag to pay for Gallinari in this one. Look, the other guy that I think I told you 2 centers today. I thought under 4,000. Zubac is the other guy. 3.9 for this guy. If he's going to get the kind of minutes that he's been getting, he's an upgrade over both Boban and Gortat. Like you said, Doc Rivers has a center, and he's going to play him. I like this. Here's the thing about this. When they made these trades, it was like, I think I text you, what the hell are they doing? They're like selling off their team, right? They're like selling off. I think they upgraded, man. You take a look at I think they upgraded for what they're trying to do. This is a solid defensive team with Temple, Beverly. Gallinari can play defense on the perimeter fairly well. Galigius Alexander may be the one kind of there, but Zubac he can play too, man. He can block shots, he can rebound. He's a really we loved him as a Laker. So I actually think they got a little bit better. Now you bring, Harrell and Williams off the bench. You got JaMychal Green on your bench as well. Nice, solid second unit. I think that this Clipper team is really going to make it interesting to see if they can get in the playoffs. I actually think they may get in as the 6th or 7th seed, especially with the defense they've done here. Nice plays in Zubac. Gallinari's underpriced. Patrick Beverly at 5.1. If he's going to play the minutes, you can continue to play him in tournaments. And then Lou Williams, I'm not sure I want to go here in this one at 8,000 with the other stuff on the board, but I have no problem with it in tournaments as well as Harrell.
Yeah, man. And on the Minnesota side of things, I mean, we're waiting on some news. You got Tyus Jones a game time decision. Teague's a game time decision. Wiggins is a game time decision. I think Teague is going to play. If Teague was going to be out, and Wiggins played, Wiggins would be a really good play once again. If Wiggins is out with the illness and Teague is going to play, I think Teague gets a boost at 5.6. I think he would be really, really intriguing. Jared Bayless is the game time decision as well. But with Teague back, I mean, he's their starting point guard. He's going to get his. So I think that Jared Bayless is going to definitely just kind of go right back into a reserve role. Derrick Rose is back as well. So, I mean, they kind of got a logjam going on. Timberwolves do, in the shooting guard and point guard position. You got Karl-Anthony Towns, 11.2. I definitely think that he can have a really, really good game. He's going to be going against Zubac and Harrell. And those guys are not push-arounds, but I think Karl-Anthony Towns, he can have a really good game right here. I like Karl-Anthony Towns a lot. I think he's my favorite play on the Timberwolves. And then, like I said, if Wiggins is out, you got to look at Jeff Teague as well. A guy that's interesting. I mean, he's GPP plays. He's either a GPP player or you use him as strictly as your drop spot. I guess now you consider people drop spot plays when they're under 4,000. I think Saric is interesting. He's got you. In the past 3 games, he played 32 minutes, 21, 24. He's got you 36 fantasy points, 28. 14 last game is kind of on a 3.7 price tag. We need 18 for value, and he just got 28 and 35. So he's showing us upside. And in the Orlando game, it was on limited minutes. He did get extra run against Memphis, but I think the Saric is interesting as your drop spot play. But outside of that, I mean, that's really it for me with Minnesota. I got to kind of get some more news as far as injury update, and then I could kind of make a little bit more decisions on this team.
Yeah, man. I think if Wiggins is out, Derrick Rose almost becomes a really chalky start.
I think that Derrick Rose and Teague both get a big-time bump.
Yeah.
For sure. Moving on, next game we're going to go with, it is going to be the Milwaukee Bucks going into Chicago to face the Bulls. This game has a 227.5 over-under. Milwaukee's favored by 11 in this one.
I really wish Mirotic was going to play in this one. I really do, man. But again, we're going to have to wait. He's already been ruled out for today. I can't wait to see this Milwaukee team play with Mirotic. I think it's going to be – I think they're going to – a really good fit. It'll fit nice. I'm just looking – go ahead.
I think no. I just want to tell you, I absolutely agree with the Miricic thing. I think that either Miricic or Giannis, one of the two, depending on the team, is going to get pushed to center, and they're going to play a lot of small ball. But you put, he's not going to start, but just playing this lineup down, down the stretch, you got Bledsoe, Middleton, Brogdon, Antetokounmpo, and throw Miricic. But that's a scary starting five right there, or even just a starting five in general.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a really good. And like I said, I don't know if he's necessarily going to start, but that lineup, that five there's a lot of firepower.
Absolutely. I mean, the way Mirotic spaces the floor is only going to help out their shooters. It's only going to help their shooters out.
Sorry to interrupt.
12,000 for Giannis is a lot on this particular slate with the other stuff that's going on. So I think that, if you want to get exposure to Giannis in tournaments tonight, you could probably get him at low exposure, and then you hope that the Bulls can keep this one close. And in that case, you have to like some Bulls because of their prices and needing it to really overproduce to keep this game close. So Bledsoe 8.1. I'm not going to maybe too expensive as well there. Giannis and Bledsoe are kind of off the table for me today. Exposure wise for me, I'm more looking towards Chris Middleton. Go back and look at Chris Middleton's game logs and see some of the games he's had against the Bulls have been monsters. The guy's had a couple of monster games against in Chicago. So I like that as well. I like him as a mid-tier play as well. I mean, 6'5" for Chris Middleton is a very fair price on the guy. And Brogdon, 6'4". They're both kind of the same player, except one of them handles the ball more in a point guard role than the other one does. So I like both those guys. Beyond that, I'm not really on anybody on Milwaukee. If you want to play the brother versus brother narrative here with Brook Lopez and Robin Lopez, fine, but they're not going to be on the court that much together, I don't think. But if you want to play that narrative, go ahead. Outside of that, it's Middleton and Brogdon for me.
Yeah, but I mean, you said it on the Bulls. I mean, these guys are all priced. They're not giving me price tags. You got Marketing 8.3. You got Dunn 7.3. Levine 7.8. Otto Porter is a guy that I think he's fair price. I think you could play him 6.7. He's a guy that's kind of standing out to me price tag wise, and he's played 33, 34 minutes, and we know Otto Porter has upside. So I think Otto Porter is a guy that I want to play on the Bulls. I mean, like I said, the other guys, the price tags are just they're up there, and this game has an 11-point spread. If this game is a blowout, I honestly don't think none of those guys outside of Porter really have a chance to hit value. If it's a blowout, that means they're probably not playing very, very well. So, I mean, on the Bulls, I mean, I'm not really interested. I like Otto Porter. Maybe throw a couple of the other guys in, GPP plays, and that's it, man.
I want to pull some up real quick because I just have something in my memory that I want to see if I can verify. Yeah, Zach LaVine had a monster game back in November against him, 46.3. But that's kind of what you need for value is in the 40s for him tonight. So it's there, the upside's there. But I agree with you on Otto Porter. Just earlier in February, he had 36.4 or 36.7 fantasy points against Milwaukee. It's a good matchup for him.
Right. The only thing I just want to quickly throw out there for LaVine is I understand he had a monster game, but that was when LaVine – there was no Chris Dunn, so he was running point guard, and his usage was crazy through the roof. So I mean, he was getting, he was the guy there. Now they got with Chris Dunn back, the usage is down big time, and then that's what really scares me with that.
Right.
Last game we're going to go with is going to be the Miami Heat going into Denver to face the Nuggets. This game has a 214 over under. Denver's favored by 10.5, and this is our golden rule. Miami played yesterday, second end of a back-to-back, going into Denver to face the Nuggets. This game is going to be a blowout. Just mark my words.
Yeah. This is I think that this is one thing the NBA should address because it's unfair for teams to go in to Denver on the second half of a back-to-back. It's not fair.
It's almost a give me win.
It's just not fair. You're tired. You get in late. It's altitude. They played late yesterday. That game finished at 8 o'clock Pacific time.
Yep.
You're in Denver by 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and then you got the time bump and man, altitude rough. So if you're gonna look in spots like this, to me, you have to look for value and guys who could play in a blowout situation, as well as younger guys with fresher legs. So to me, Hassan Whiteside's minutes could go down a little bit more in this one. And you look at Bam. Bam had a solid game last night against the Warriors. You look at him. Dwayne Wade, I don't know if this is a spot to go after Dwayne Wade at 5.7. He's got the older legs. He is retiring, as we know. So it's not a guy that, I understand he's playing very, very well. I think last night he had 12 points and 9 assists and almost had a triple-double against Golden State. So I know he's playing very well, but listen, I believe the score last night was 120-118. They lost, correct? So they had a very emotional game last night, exuded a lot of energy, tried to pull that win off, didn't get it done. Now they're going to altitude. It's just a recipe for disaster with the rest of this roster, and I'm going to stay away from it.
Yeah, for sure. And then, I mean, I'm going to be honest, on the Nuggets side of things, there's actually two guys that I think are very, very, very good plays. And I think you can play both these guys in cash games. I really like them. It's Mason Plumlee. I think I just have a feeling that Millsap's going to be out again. If Millsap's out again, Plumlee's going to be in that starting role, 5.9. The guy's been playing very, very well, and the price tag is barely even moved. The past 3 games, the minutes have been up. He's got you 32, 28, 36, been in that starting role. And, I mean, look at this dude. In 2 of the past 3 games, he's got you at least 6 assists. That's just showing this guy passes the ball. It's crazy when him and Jokic play together because both of them are very, very good passers for bigs. This guy, I mean, he's got you 35, 35, 30 fantasy points. Model of consistency, exactly what we're looking for in cash games. If he's going to start again, if Millsap is out, I think you just put Plumlee in and just kind of move on. Another guy, Will Barton, 5.4. They don't want to raise this guy's price tag. 2 games ago, yes, he got his minutes got buzzed off and he only played 29 minutes. And Monte Morris was the guy that they got the minutes. But you know what? If you think about it, going back to last year, going back to the start of this year, they like Will Barton a lot more than they do like Monte Morris. Yes, Monte Morris has been playing very well, and maybe he earned himself a couple extra minutes, etc. But Barton is going to be that guy that if Gary Harris is going to be out, Barton's going to get the minutes. Yes, he may not get 38 minutes, but he's going to get at least 30 minutes, and with Jamal Murray back, it really hurts the other guys, it hurts the Monte Morrises, the Torrey Craigs, even Malik Beasley. I think you can look at him, but 4.6 is not a bare middle give me price tag anymore. So, I mean, honestly, Jokic, 11.4 going against Whiteside, Jamal Murray, 6.9. I think they're fair prices. But for me, on the Nuggets, if Plumlee's going to start, I love Plumlee, and I love Will Barton at 5.4.
Yeah, the one thing about Will Barton is they got waxed in that Brooklyn game, and they got waxed in the Detroit game, their game before that. So that 19 minutes is just – I wouldn't take it for anything other than they got waxed. It is a very long road trip for them as well.
Yeah, bro. Like I said, I really like Plumlee. I like Barton. Those guys are some of my favorite plays on the boards for them. And they're just really good price tags. Yeah. But, yeah, hey, man, that's it. 9 games in the bag, knocked it out. Hey, man, we will be back a little bit later with our NBA core videos as well as our NBA live segment an hour before lock, kind of updating any injury news, answering any questions that you guys have as you guys are building your lineups. So, hey, make sure have those notifications turned on. This way you don't miss any of our videos today or in the future. If you want to play the actual lineups that we're playing every single night, you want to, use our optimizer and run 150 lineups, max center in the tournament, you can do all that here. We have it all. One-stop shop, dfscheatsheet.com. Thanks very much, Jeremy, for helping me out with this video. And if we don't talk to you guys before then, man, good luck on your guys' contest tonight. Peace out.